Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. I have combined all the videos in our download button series into this single long video so that it's easy for you to follow. Now in this video we are basically going to create this download button with a countdown timer. So if I click on this download button, here we can see we have this timer displayed over here, and after 5 seconds we will have the link displayed over here. Now you can add the link of any of your product page over here, and I will also leave the link of the source code in the description. And in the end I'll also show you how to add this button to your Blogger website. Alright, so let's get started. Right here I have created this folder called countdown button, and let's start by creating the necessary files. So let's click on new file and let's create an HTML file. I'll just name it index.html, and let's create a CSS file. I'll just name it style.css, and let's also create a JavaScript file. Let's name it main.js. Let's start with the index.html file. Now in VS Code you have this shortcut where you can just press exclamation and press tab, and you'll have this basic HTML5 code. Right here in the head section, let's link our CSS file. So let's tap link and press tab, and in the href I'll just tap style.css, and in the body let's link the JavaScript file. So let's tap script src and press tab, and in the src I'll just tap main.js. Right now let's start with the HTML of this button. Now before starting with the design, I just want to mention that an advanced user can go ahead and skip the timer by changing the JavaScript, because we are adding the timer using JavaScript in the client side, so the user can go ahead and change the JavaScript. Right now let's go back to our HTML and let's start by creating a container division. So let's create a division with the class of download button container, and in that we will have a button, and let's give it a class of download button. And inside the download button let's have this text of download, and after that we also need to have this icon. So for the icon I'm going to use heroicons.com, and here let's search for down, and we have this icon called arrow down. So let's copy this icon from here. Let's copy the SVG, and let's go back and paste it in the HTML. So for that let's create a span, and let's give it a class of download icon, and let's paste the SVG over here. Right, that's it with the download button. Now let's go ahead and add the content of this heading and also the link. So we need to have an S3 for this heading, and we'll have an anchor tag for this link. So let's go back and let's go outside this button, and let's create a division with the class of download info, and in that we will have an S3, and let's type your download link will appear in 5 seconds, and after that we will have the link. So for now let's create an anchor tag over here, and here in the href you can just add the link of the downloadable content. I'll just type hash for now, and let's also give it a class. So let's give it a class of download link, and here I'll just type click here. Now later we'll go ahead and delete this anchor tag from here, and we'll generate this anchor tag using JavaScript. But for now let's keep it for styling. Right, that's basically it with the HTML. Now let's go ahead and start writing the CSS. Before that let's open this in our browser and let's see how it looks. So I have this extension called Live Server installed in VS Code. So once you install that, you can just right click over here in the HTML and click on Open with Live Server. And here we can see we have all the content displayed over here. Right now let's go ahead and start styling this. First of all let's target the download button container. So let's type .download button container, and let's set the width to 100%, and we'll also set a max width property, and let's set it to 600 pixels. Right now let's add a background color, and let's set it to light gray, and let's bring it to the center. So let's type margin 0 for top and bottom and auto for left and right. And I think we can add a little bit of margin at the top and the bottom as well. So here let's type 24 pixels. Now let's give it a padding of 16 pixels. And let's also set the text align to the center. So let's type text align center. Now let's set the font family to Montserrat. So first of all, let's get the link of the font. So here I'm in fonts.google.com, and you can just search for the font over here. So I'll just type Montserrat, and let's click on this font, and we need to get the font styles of 300, light 300, and also bold 700. So let's select this, and let's click on this button called View Selected Families, and we have these two fonts selected over here. Let's go ahead and copy the link. So let's copy this link from here, and let's go back to our HTML, and let's paste it over here inside the head section. Right now, let's go back to our style.css file, and let's set the font family to Montserrat and sans serif. Right now, let's also add a border radius. So let's type border radius, and let's set it to 10 pixels. So now we can see we have these rounded corners. Let's also add a box shadow. So let's type box shadow, and let's set the values to inset 0 pixels, 10 pixels, 15 pixels, negative 3 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0 and 0.2, or let's set it to 0.1. Right now, let's style this download button. So let's go back, and for the download button we have a class of download button. So let's type download button container, download button. And first of all, let's set the display to flex so that we have the text on the left and the icon on the right. So let's type display of flex, and now we cannot see the icon, so we have to set a width for the icon. So let's go back, and let's go to the HTML file, and for the icon we have this class of download icon. So let's target that. Let's type download button container, download icon, and let's set the width to 16 pixels, and let's also bring this to the center vertically. So here in the download button, let's type align items to the center, and let's set the width of the button to 200 pixels, and let's bring this to the center. So let's type justify content to the center. Right now, let's set the font family to Montserrat. So let's type font family Montserrat and sans serif, and let's set the font size to 16 pixels, and let's set the font weight to 300, and let's set the text transform to uppercase, and we'll also have some gap between these characters. So let's type letter spacing, and let's set it to 2 pixels. Right now, let's set the background color of the button. So let's type background, and let's set it to EF233C, and let's remove the border. So let's type border and set it to none, and we'll also add some padding. So let's type padding, and let's set it to 8 pixels, and let's also set the cursor to pointer, and let's set the color of the text to white. So let's type color white, and we'll also have a little bit of gap between this text and this icon. So here I'll just type gap, and let's set it to 8 pixels. And now we need to bring this button to the center. So for that, let's go back to our download button container, and we'll set the display of this to flex, and we'll set the flex direction to column, and let's type align items to the center. Right now, let's style this heading. So let's go back, and for the heading we have an S3 inside the download info division. So let's type download info S3, and we'll set the color of the text to 023047, and let's also decrease the margin bottom. So let's type margin bottom, and let's set it to 12 pixels. Right now, let's style this link. So for the link, we have an anchor tag with the class of download link. So let's type download info, download link, and let's set the font size to 14 pixels, and let's set the text transform to uppercase, and we'll set the font weight to 300, and we'll set the color of the text to 023047, and let's set the letter spacing. So let's tap letter spacing and let's set it to 4 pixels, and we'll also increase the gap between the underline and the text. So for that you have to type text underline offset, and we'll set it to 5 pixels. Right, that's it with the download link. Now let's add the animation for this icon. Now the animation will play only when we start downloading. So when we click on this button, we will start having the animation for the icon. So here we can see in our original design, if I just refresh this, we can see that we don't have the animation right now. But if I click on the download button, we have the animation playing over here. So when we click on this download button, we will add a class to this button, and we'll just name it active. So when we have the active class inside the download button, we need to add the animation for this icon. So let's go back, and here let's type download button container, download button dot active, and in that we have the download icon. So let's type download icon, and here we will add the animation. So let's type animation, and let's name the animation bounce anim, and we will have it for 700 milliseconds, and we will have it for infinite amount of times and alternate. Right, now let's create this animation. So here I'll just type add keyframes, and we have named it bounce anim, and here we need to add the frames of the animation. Now the first frame will be the default position. Here let's add the last frame, so we can just type 100%, or you can also type 2, and here let's type transform, translate y, and 4 pixels. Right, now let's add the active class to the download button. So let's go back to our HTML, and let's scroll up, and here for the download button, let's type active, and now we can see that the animation is being played for the download button. Alright, let's remove the active class. Now let's go back, and by default we don't need to have this heading and this link displayed over here. So we will set the height of this download info to 0 by default. So let's go back, and let's target the download info division. So here I'll just type download info, and let's set the height to 0, and we'll set the overflow to hidden so that nothing outside the division is being displayed. And now we can see we don't have the download info displayed over here. Now when we have the active class, we will set a height to this download info. So let's type download button container, download button dot active. Now since the download info is adjacent to the download button, we need to add plus over here to select the download info. So let's type download info, and let's set the height to 90 pixels. Right, now let's add the active class. So here let's type active, and now we can see that we have the correct height for the download info, and we also have this animation. And if we remove the active class from here, we don't have the download info displayed, and we also don't have the animation. Alright, so that's basically it with the design of our download button. Right, here we have the source code of our design, and here we have already linked our JavaScript file. So first of all, let's go ahead and reference some of these elements from the HTML into our JavaScript. So we need to reference this heading because we need to change the text, and we also need to reference this download button because we need to add the active class to this download button, and we also need to reference this download info division because we need to add this anchor tag. So let's remove this anchor tag from here, and we will generate it using JavaScript. So let's delete this. Alright, now let's go to our JavaScript file and let's reference those elements. So first of all, let's type const download button equals document.querySelector, and let's type download button container, download button, and then let's reference the download heading. So let's type const download heading equals document.querySelector, download info s3, and now let's reference the download info division. So let's type const download info equals document.querySelector download info. Alright, now the first thing we will do is we will add an event listener to this download button. So let's type download button dot add event listener, and let's listen for the click event, and let's create an arrow function over here. And here we need to add the active class to the download button. So let's type download button dot class list dot add active. Right, now let's go back and let's check whether this works. Let's click on this download button, and here we can see we have the download info displayed over here. Now let's also add a smooth transition between these two states. So let's go back to our CSS, and let's go to the download info division. So here let's type transition, and let's set it to all 400 milliseconds ease. Now let's go back and let's click on this download button, and here we can see we have this smooth transition. Right, now the next thing we will do is we'll create this timer for 5 seconds. So this number should change from 5 through 0. So let's go back to our JavaScript file. Now here, after adding the active class, let's add a timer. Now before that, let's go ahead and create a variable for that. So let's type let download timer, and we'll also have to store the remaining time. So let's type let remaining time equals 5 by default. Right, now let's type download timer equals set interval, and we will set the interval to 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. So this block of code will execute every 1 second. Now here we need to decrement the remaining time. So let's type remaining time minus minus. Right, now we need to display this remaining time inside the heading. So here we are already referencing the heading. So let's type download heading dot inner HTML equals, and here we need to add the text. So let's go back to our HTML, and let's copy this text from here, and let's paste it over here. Let's add it inside backticks, and here instead of 5 we need to add the variable remaining time. So let's type $symbol curly braces, and let's type remaining time over here. Right, now let's go back to our browser, and let's click on this download button, and here we can see we have this timer which starts from 5 and it's going down to 0. But after 0 it goes back to the negative numbers. So we need to stop this timer after 0. So here let's add an if condition. Let's check whether the remaining time is less than or equal to 0. So let's type remaining time less than equal to 0. And if it is true, we can just clear the interval. So let's type clear interval, and let's add the name of the interval, which is download timer. And we'll also create a function to show the download link. So let's create a function called show download link. I'll just call it over here. We'll just create that in a minute. And here in else, let's add this code right here. So let's copy this from here, and let's paste it over here. Right, now let's go back to our browser, and let's click on this download button, and we have this timer being displayed over here, and we can see that after 1 second it doesn't decrease. Now after that we need to show this text called here is the download link. So let's do that. Let's go back to our if condition, and here we can set the text of the download heading dot inner HTML equals. So we need to type here's the download link. So let's copy this and paste it over here. Alright, now the last thing we need to do is create this show download link function. So let's type const show download link, and here we need to create an anchor tag. So let's type const, and let's give it a name of download link equals document dot create element, and we'll create an anchor tag. So let's type a, and in the anchor tag we need to add an href attribute. So let's type download link dot href equals, and you can add the link of your downloadable content over here. I'll just type hash, and in the anchor tag we need to have this text click here. So let's type download link dot inner HTML, equals, click here. And then lastly we need to add a class called download link. So let's type download link dot class list dot add download link. And then the last thing we need to do is append this download link to this download info. So let's type download info dot append child, and let's type download link. Right now let's see whether this works. So let's go back to our website and let's click on this download button, and here we have the timer. And now here we can see after 5 seconds we have the download link displayed over here. Now we need to fix an issue that we have with our code right now. So now if I click on this download button, we have the link displayed once more. So every time we click on the download button, we will have this link created. So we need to stop that from happening. So let's go back to our JavaScript, and here we'll create a boolean variable called link displayed, and by default we will set it to false. And once the link is displayed, we'll set it to true. So here I'll just add an if condition, and here first of all I'll just check whether we don't have the link displayed. So let's type exclamation link displayed. This will check whether the link displayed value is false, and let's add all of this inside the if condition. And here after this if condition, let's type link displayed, and let's set it to true. So now this code will be executed only once. Let's go back to our website and let's test it out. Let's click on this download button, and we have the timer displayed over here. And here we have the link. Now let's click on this download button once again, and we don't have the link created once again. So everything is working alright. So that's basically how you create a download button with a countdown timer using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Right here I'm in the dashboard of my Blogger website, and we can add this inside a post or a page. I'll just add it inside a post. So let's create a new post over here. I'll just click on new post. You can also add it inside an existing post if you want. I'll just create a new post. And first of all, let's add a title over here. So I'll just type download our product. Now the first thing we need to do over here is to change this mode into HTML view. So by default it will be in the compose view, so you have to change it into HTML view. Now here we can add the HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So first of all, let's add the CSS. I'll just create a style tag for that. And in the style tag we will add the CSS. So let's go to our source code, and I will leave the link of the source code in the description. So let's go to the style.css file, and this is the CSS of our button. So let's copy this from here. Let's go back to our post and let's paste it over here inside the style tag. Now the next thing we will do is copy the HTML. So I'll just make some space over here after the style tag, and let's go back to our source code and let's go to the HTML file. And first of all, let's copy the link of the font. So I'll just copy these 3 links from here, and let's paste it over here. And now let's paste the HTML. So let's go back to our source code and let's copy all this HTML from here. And here we can see we have the text of the button, so you can change the text over here. And here we have the text of what will be displayed in the message. So let's copy everything from here till the end over here, and let's paste it over here inside the post. And the last thing we need to do is copy and paste the JavaScript. So let's create a script tag for that. And here inside the script tag we will paste the JavaScript. So let's go back to our source code and let's go to the main.js file. And this is the JavaScript of our button, and here we can see we have the length of the timer. Right now it is set to 5. You can change this to whatever you want. So if we just set this to 15, your download will start after 15 seconds. And then here we are creating the link of the download. So instead of this hash, you can just add the link of your download page. And then here's the text of the link. You can change this to whatever you want. And if you scroll down, we also have the text of the messages. So here we have the message that will be displayed after the download link appears. And you can change these to whatever you want. Right now, let's go ahead and copy this JavaScript from here. So I'll just select everything and copy. And let's go to our post and let's paste it over here inside the script tag. Right now let's publish this and let's see whether it works. So let's click on publish and confirm. And here we can see our post has been published. So let's click on view post. And here we have the download button. Let's click on it and let's see whether it works. And here we can see that the timer has started, and after 5 seconds the link should be displayed over here. And everything is working alright. I think we need to have an underline over here for the link. So in our original design we have an underline. So here we have this underline. We need to display the underline over here as well. So let's see what is the problem. Let's right click over here and click on inspect. And I think by default the theme has removed the underlines. So let's add the underline over here and let's see how it works. So let's tap text decoration underline. Right now we have the underline displayed over here. So let's go back to our post and let's add the underline. Let's scroll down and go to the download link. So here I'll just type text decoration and let's set it to underline. Right now let's update this. And let's go back to our post and let's refresh this page. And let's click on the download button. And now here we can see we have the underline for the link. So everything is working alright. You can just go ahead and change the link over here inside the JavaScript. So here just change this hash to the link of your download page. And I will leave the link of the source code in the description. Right, so that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.